Yeah, so thinking, sticking with this point about the sort of the experience of being in a place, and you're right, it's not just tall buildings, but you know, when you see an artist's impression of something that's 10, 12 stories tall, in my constituency we have multiple buildings now over 40 stories tall. The artist's impression, the bulk of the building is up in the sky, but actually how it succeeds or fails is all about what happens on the maybe ground and first floor, because that's how, a human scale, that's how people are experiencing it. And you hinted at one of the problems there, which is that if there isn't the commercial viability, so if the developer says, well, there's no demand for something interesting, some kind of commercial space or leisure, retail, something like that on the lower floors, and you then end up with sort of the tendency these days with residential blocks is to, even if they're not hugely tall, let's say, we see a lot of it in Canning Town up the road here, say 10, 15 stories, this sort of dead, long stretch of dead street frontage, which is that block with just one door in it. How do you avoid that, particularly if the developers push back? It's all well and good you saying it's really nice to have active ground floor, and the developer says, yeah, it would be nice, but it's not commercially viable. We haven't got tenants, we haven't got anything. The way we're going to build this is just to go, boom, there's a block of flats, there's the ground floor, and you create 50 metres of nothing.
Well, I mean, part of the answer to that is each area has a unique component to it, because it does depend a little bit on, for example, your proximity to other major shopping centres or other high streets, and each area has to be kind of looked at in its own terms as to how to make it work. I mean, I think if you have the kind of density of population that is being proposed that we're looking towards in Old Oak, I don't see any reason at all that you're not going to be able to have a viable high street. I mean, the numbers will be there, the need will be there. But of course, you hit on a critical point that is slightly unanswerable, which is that there's always going to be a negotiation between your development partners and in this case the corporation, or it might be in other cases it might be the local authorities, about what you are seeking to achieve, because you want environmental sustainability, you want affordable housing, you want a kind of thriving public realm, and there's always going to be a to and fro negotiation with developers as to how you make that viable. Now, what we will be seeking to do is, this process of seeking a partner of master planning, is to have, be having those discussions at an early stage and setting out what the expectation of the corporation will be. I mean, I can't tell you exactly what that's going to look like. I mean, it's going to be, very much for the planners to be coming up with those proposals and working on them. But what we know we need is a mixed tenure development with stability, with a thriving high street that is highly sustainable for people to be able to move about, and that welcomes people from of all ages and of all backgrounds.
Okay, thanks very much.